to the Everything Show, episode 914. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Steampunk Starraisin.
Yeah, oops. Sorry about that. Yeah, here in L.A.
All right, so the Logan second trailer broke. So what'd you think of that?
It looks interesting, and it had some humor in it that the first one didn't have, like Professor X throwing the F-bomb at the end of the trailer. That kind of caught me by surprise.
The funny thing I just realized was that they made it where this universe is not connected to the X-Men universe. That this is an alternate timeline for Wolverine. So it's not necessarily connected to Wolverine 1 or 2 or any of the X-Men movies. It's an alternate standalone timeline. Why do you think they did this?
Well, the first two Wolverine movies didn't get good critical acclaim. And they did the first two Wolverine movies. Well, I mean, the last Wolverine movie, I think, The Wolverine, did very well at the box office. The first one did kind of mediocre at the box office. And the last two Wolverine movies, a lot of people criticized it and said that it sucked. And I would agree. I wasn't a big fan. I mean, I thought X-Men Origins Wolverine was kind of a mediocre film, and then the second one with the samurai, I didn't really care for that one. And so I guess it's just as well that they do this as a standalone film, hence that it doesn't even have Wolverine in the title. I'm thinking that it might, but I mean, I guess if they've publicly stated that it's in its own universe separate from all the rest, I was thinking that it was a direct sequel to X-Men The Last Stand.
It's actually not, because the thing is that I guess this is a way, I'm thinking, in my opinion, this is a way where to do something artistic in film with the character, and they can never really say that this is the final Wolverine movie because it's an alternate reality. So if he really wanted to come back, it wouldn't phase it because, again, this is an alternate reality. This is not connected to Wolverine, X-Men or just Wolverine or Wolverine 2 or whatever, or any of the X-Men movies. So this is a separate, don't know what the history is universe. And if he dies at the end of this movie, it doesn't matter because, again, you could count it that there's millions of different universes connected to Wolverine, and this is just one of them.
Well, that's cool. I mean, have you read the Old Man Logan comic? I've only read part of it.
I was never a fan of that. I didn't want to. I don't like alternate reality versions of things.
I haven't read all the comic because the Old Man Logan was a miniseries, and I remember when it came out in the comic book store, I didn't have the money to buy it, but I read the issues off the shelf at the comic book store, and it was I almost wish that they would have done the movie kind of like the comic book, because I mean the movie is interesting, and I think it looks really depressing and like the end of the life for the X-Men and Professor X and Wolverine, and I wonder what explanation they're going to come up with for why there's no mutants around anymore except for X-23. But in the Old Man Logan comic, which this is only very loosely based on, there was no X-23 in there, and it was Wolverine versus Red Skull. It was really weird, but I liked the weirdness of it. They took place like 200 years in the future. Wolverine is the last X-Men left alive, and his healing factor is damaged. So he's starting to age, and he's got gray hair, and he looks like an old man. His healing factor still works, but it causes him great pain because it causes scarring, and it doesn't heal like it used to. And so he uses his claws only at great restraint because it causes an excruciating amount of pain because he has to cut his hand every time. And so, the Red Skull is still alive because he, being a scientist, he's used technology and chemicals to keep himself alive. But the Red Skull in the Old Man Logan comic, he took up the mantle of Captain America. That's what I was saying. It was delightfully weird. I liked how they went weird with it. He had killed Captain America. He finally succeeded in killing Captain America, but the Red Skull, being a crazy egomaniac like he's depicted in the comic and in the movie somewhat, he took up the mantle of Captain America after killing him and started wearing Captain America's uniform and carrying around his shield. And it's like post-apocalypse, 200 years in the future. Most humans are dead, most mutants are dead, and most heroes are dead. And the Red Skull has like this temple, and he has a museum, and he's killed off most of the Avengers. He's got like a museum case with like all artifacts from every Avenger that he killed. And Wolverine's like the last guy left to take him down. And then eventually Wolverine ends up killing the Red Skull, decapitating him with Captain America's shield, which he takes. Yeah, so it was a very interesting story. I almost wish they would have done that story, but this story looks good too. Yeah.
Pretty interesting. But again, there's talk of Hugh Jackman reprising his role to be in a Deadpool crossover movie after Deadpool 2. That's what they want to do. I know they're trying to get him to cameo in the second one. What do you think about that?
I think it would be cool, but I think Hugh Jackman has publicly stated that he doesn't want to do Wolverine anymore, and he said that this was going to be his last.
I know, but Ryan Reynolds has been sending like cupcakes to his house. He's been doing crazy stuff, so he might get him to do it, actually.
Okay, well, that'd be cool. I think Hugh Jackman is the very embodiment of Wolverine. He looks and sounds what I would imagine Wolverine would sound like in real life, and so it hopefully he'll keep doing it. I understand why he wants to stop, because he's worried about being typecast as Wolverine, but he's already typecast as Wolverine. So
there's a new problem that just arose, and that is that DC is trying to go for another battle of Marvel vs. DC, where they're trying to rehire Ryan Reynolds to be the Green Lantern in a Green Lantern movie and try to throw a lot of money his way. Not only, and in case you don't know, this is a real thing, this Marvel vs. DC thing. This is a real battle, ego, blood all over the place. They even went to Cyclops a second time, DC.
Okay.
Because if you remember, they went to the Cyclops actor and they hired him to be Lois Lane's husband. And then Marvel got pissed off and they had Jean Grey kill him off in the first 5 minutes of X-Men Last Stand. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then Marvel forgave the actor and they put him in Days of Future Past in the end. So
yeah. That was a soft reboot.
Yeah, but they forgave him. And now it turns out that they're trying to get him again to be in another DC movie. So this never ends, this Marvel vs. DC thing. I'm wondering what Marvel's going to do and who they're going to hire as an answer to this Marvel vs. DC rivalry.
I don't know. That's interesting. I didn't know about that kind of rivalry. I think it would be nice to do a DC versus Marvel movie. That's what I initially thought you were talking about, but I didn't know that they were trying to sabotage each other by hiring actors.
Well, the thing is that I'll give you an example too. They hired our J. Jonah Jameson to be their Commissioner Gordon. They hired our Green Goblin to be in Aquaman, and we retaliated and got Michael Keaton as the Vulture. So, again, this is going back and forth. They are going to hire, they're going to try to hire Iron Man 1's villain, Dennis Quaid.
Oh.
Is it Dennis Quaid or Jeff Bridges?
It was Jeff Bridges.
I'm sorry, not Dennis Quaid. Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges played Iron Monger.
Yeah, they're trying to get Jeff Bridges to be Darkseid.
I don't see any
problem.
What
is Darkseid or Darkseid?
It's all about whether the actors want to do it. I guess they.
How do you pronounce it? Darkseid or Darkseid? Darkseid?
I thought it was Darkseid.
Darkseid, yeah. So
I was never too much in the DC comics. I was more of a Marvel guy.
Yeah, so they're going back and forth, and they're trying to one-up each other, and they're trying to get him, Jeff Bridges, to be Darkseid.
Well, I mean, I guess it could be cool if he's willing to do it. I don't see any problem with it because they killed off Ironmonger in the first Iron Man movie, and I guess he sort of could have come back. He could have just been unconscious, but they kind of led you to believe that he died.
They could keep him, I guess. I don't know. It's whatever.
The Ironmonger was never a really big Iron Man villain, let alone a villain in the. He was a minor Iron Man villain in Iron Man universe. But it was the armor looked really cool for the movie.
Right.
But I don't know. I guess it's kind of cool. I mean, it makes it more interesting. I guess what they're trying to do is they're trying to lock up key actors into contracts, exclusive contracts, so that they can't do Marvel and they can only do DC.
Right.
I heard that they're going to be doing possibly another soft reboot, if not another hard reboot of the X-Men franchise. I don't know.
There is going to be an X-Men sequel. Might be a soft reboot. There was one big article I wanted to talk about, and that being, I don't have all the information on it. I'm going to wait till Chris probably later to talk in more detail, but Sony Pictures may be up for sale. And if that's the case, and I'm gonna throw this out there, what is the possibility of Disney buying the rights to Ghostbusters or Men in Black or something like that?
I can see why they would do it, because Sony Pictures owns the rights to Spider-Man.
So I don't know. I'm going to be following this story later. So I just heard this through the grapevine, so we'll see how true it is. But that is an interesting thing.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because Beyond the Trailer was doing a 2016 summary video a couple of weeks ago, and she was talking about how Sony Pictures didn't do very well on movies last year.
Yeah.
Like the top grossing Sony Pictures movie last year was like number 23.
Yeah, they're not doing that great. No.
So that leaves them open to selling that department, and it would make sense for Disney to do it unless somebody else competes with them.
I mean, if Disney could buy it, that would be great, because then we would secure our Ghostbuster stuff for sure. But, you know.
Yeah. I haven't seen the new Ghostbusters, so.
You got to see it when you get a chance.
Okay. I heard so many bad things about it. It's the reason why I never got around to seeing it.
You don't believe everything you read. I mean, over here.
No, I don't believe everything I read, but when you hear...
I wanted to ask you. Wait, I forgot to ask you. Oh, my God. They delayed Star Trek Discovery again.
Yeah, I heard. There's a really good British girl. She's really cute, and she goes by the handle of Cat Dork. I know that's a weird name for a YouTube channel, but I like her YouTube videos because she's a hardcore Star Trek fan.
Yeah, but they delayed it. Now we don't have a date at all. They says we don't.
She did a lot of news. Yeah, she talked about that, and that's where I found out my news about that, and I cross-referenced it. Yeah, there's no release date now.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good. I'm worried that this is going to be like another Star Trek Phase 2.
I think they're going to phase it out. I think they're going to cancel it.
Yeah, it'll be like Star Trek Phase 2. It'll go up in Star Trek history. They're like, Star Trek Discovery, they shot some scenes, and they had visual art, and they did some special effects, but they never were able to completely cast it. And they were, because you got Brian Fuller quit, and he publicly stated that he felt like they weren't going to give him enough time to do a quality show. And then CBS said that they only want to release it as a streaming show only. Right. And then they released, after they've delayed the production twice. First, it was going to be in January, and then they delayed it to May, and now it's delayed indefinitely with no date. And other Star Trek blogs have talked about this, and it's really bad sign. And there's some executives at CBS and Paramount. Some of the executives at Paramount, because Paramount's responsible for the television side of it, they really, I think at Paramount, there's some people that really hate Star Trek. They hate it from a business standpoint, because they think that all the special effects, even though it was always a fairly highly rated show, and I would argue even Enterprise in its fourth season was a highly rated show. Because you got to keep in mind that Enterprise in season 4 had 4 million viewers. I've talked about this with Daniel on one of his Star Trek casts. And Flash is considered a highly successful show, right? Flash only has 3.3 million viewers, but yet people say it's successful. They gave it critical acclaim, and it is a great show, and it's well written and well produced. But it's only got 3.3 million viewers, and yet they've kept that show alive.
Flash is doing well, though.
Well, it's doing well, but I mean, I remember Beyond the Trailer, which is one of my favorite YouTube channels. She talked about the numbers of the CW shows, and she said that there's only the Flash only has 3.3 million viewers, and I'm just trying to equate that there's obviously somebody at Paramount who hates Star Trek and wants it to fail. They've got the rights to it, and they don't really know what to do with it. And they don't really want to produce a quality show because they don't want to spend too much money. They'd rather just produce a bunch of reality shows because reality shows are cheap and or daytime soap operas or whatever. But they don't want to do the investment that it would require for special effects because they canceled Enterprise with 4 million viewers. Star Trek Enterprise had more people watching it than what people watch The Flash today. Yeah, and yet they still canceled it. And then when they announced the delay of Star Trek Discovery, CBS, Paramount, or whatever, they've had kind of a falling out, but both sides still own certain rights to Star Trek. But Paramount released like some nasty, sarcastic statement saying, I think it might have been CBS. CBS released a nasty, sarcastic statement saying, "We don't believe that." Yeah, it was CBS because they're promoting CBS All Access. They released a nasty, sarcastic statement saying that they didn't believe that sci-fi had a place on television right now.
Well, that's stupid.
I was like, that is really stupid.
They're just old fogies.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of old fogies on the executive board. They're just thinking it as they look at their spreadsheets and they think that tells them the whole world. And right. there's a lot of gray in between those numbers on those spreadsheets, and those spreadsheets don't tell you everything. But they don't
realize how much better they could do. They just want to do the same.
Well, they just want to do a bunch of dumbed down reality TV shows because those are cheap, and even if you get half the ratings, then you have a better chance of making a profit, I guess. But I mean, to sit there and insult the fans and say that they don't believe that a sci-fi show like Star Trek has really any place on television right now.
That's stupid.
Like, just look at The Flash. Look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They still keep that going.
That's amazing that that's still going.
Yeah, no, because that show kind of sucks. Yeah. The show kind of sucks, and
I lost interest. I don't know how many times, but yeah.
I lost interest after season 2. It just started getting really boring and repetitive, But yeah, I think they're just going to end up scrapping it now because they're trying to turn Star Trek into a commercial for CBS All Access.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody gives a shit about CBS All Access. They want to see it on TV, and if you're not going to put it on TV, first of all, half the people don't even watch CBS anymore. They watch like the cable network channels. I mean, yeah, the CW we watch for the Flash and everything, but I mean, there's only a few shows like Big Bang Theory and stuff like that people watch CBS for. So, I mean, they're phasing out. They need to get up with the times and know like the quality programming on cable network. They need to put something out there that's going to be catching someone's eye, but they don't. They just want to play it safe, and they're like, "Oh yeah, all right. These are the numbers, and we can't do anything under that, but we really don't care about doing anything above that." That's stupid,
Well, and part of the reason that we haven't had a Star Trek TV show in 12 years is J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams, when he took over the Star Trek franchise, originally put in his contract that he didn't want a Star Trek TV show going on at the same time as the movie.
Well, that could be a problem, too, because he's doing 4. So
yeah.
That's why you're not going to have it.
Star Trek is just better suited to television, and Star Wars is better suited to movies. And they need to realize that and just stick with that formula.
I like Star Trek in the movies. I
do.
Ever since Wrath of Khan, it was, a good show. It stands on its own.
Well, except for the last 3 movies, I did. I used to like Star Trek in the movies until Abrams took over.
Mm.
Then it was terrible.
But you got one more, so you have to see how you like that one.
Well, hopefully in that one, I heard the rumor is this is going to be a time travel story where that's the reason why they got Thor in it, Chris Hemsworth.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a time travel story where he has to save his dad. So I'm wondering if he'll reset to the Prime Universe. That's
It might. All right, we're going to go for now. Thank you, Steampunk.
No problem.
Take care. Bye for now.